In this video, we're going to be combining like terms. So what are like terms? Like terms are terms that have the same variables, which are letters, and powers, which are exponents. So some examples of like terms would be 7x and 9x. Those are like terms. 7xy or 9yx. I know it looks different here, but the variables are the same. Both 7 and the 9 contain an x and a y. We have 7x squared, and then we have 9x squared. They have the same exponents, the same variable, so they're like terms. Examples of not like terms would include 7x and 9y, two different variables. 7xy, 9yxz. The 9 has an extra z, and so those are not like terms. 7x squared or 9x cubed, not like terms. They have different powers, they have different exponents, and so on the x, the variable x, and so therefore they're not like terms. All right, let's look at example 1. We want to simplify this expression by combining like terms. So the first thing we want to do is identify what would be the like terms here. And so we do have a negative 2x and a negative 8x. And so what I like to do is I like to put a box around it. You can color code it to make it much easier to follow along. And when you do put a box around it, you do want to make sure that you include the sign, the number, and the variable, everything in the box. So here I put a box around the negative 2x and the negative 8x because those are like terms, which would leave me with a plus 1 all on its own. Now to simplify, what you're going to do is you're going to add what's in the same color boxes. So, and you're going to add the coefficients, not do anything with the variable. The variable is going to stay the same. And so here I'm going to end up with something in my blue box, something in my red box, and simplifying it down, we would add the coefficients negative 2 and negative 8, which gives us negative 10, and then we're going to have our variable x, and then plus 1 can't do anything with it. It's just going to stay plus 1. So this expression simplifies down to be negative 10x plus 1. So here, let's look at example 2. We do have some decimals, but the process is exactly the same. And in fact, we have just like terms here. They both contain an A, and so here we're only going to have one color, and so we're just going to be adding the coefficients in front of A. So you just add the decimals, negative 0.6 plus 0.1, which will give us negative 0.5, and then we have our A, and that's going to be our final answer is negative 0.5A. So looking at example 3, we have a longer expression. The first step of the process is to identify the like terms, and I'm going to do that by drawing a box around my like terms using the same color. I got to make sure that I include the sign and the variable and the number all in the box. So the first thing I'm going to identify is I have an 11y and I have a negative 2y. So I'm going to put that in blue. And then last, I have a 9b and a 5b, and those are like terms, so I'm going to put a box around those, and I'm going to color that in red. And so I'm going to end up needing to simplify down by adding the coefficients in front of each of the variables. And so I'm going to have my blue box and have my red box, and so I'm simplifying what's in my blue box first. And so it's 11 plus a negative 2, or 11 minus 2, which gives us a 9y, and then we have 9 and 5. When you add those together, you get 14. So 14b is going to be in the red box. And so my final answer is just going to be 9y plus 14b. All right, let's look at example 4. It's our last example here. We have some variables with exponents, and so the first process is to figure out what my like terms are. And so looking at my first variable here, my first term, I have just a negative a. I don't have anything else in the expression with just an a, so it's going to be by itself. I do want to make a note that the coefficient in front of a is actually a negative 1. I know you don't see the 1 there, but it is there. And then next, moving on to my next term, I do have like terms. I have a plus 3a squared and a plus a squared. And so once again, with the a squared, there is a number there. It is a 1. I know you don't see it, but it's there. And then last, I need to actually have a third color here because I'm left with a -2, which is a standalone term. There's no other like term with the -2. So here I'm going to have 3 colors that I'm going to have to fill in the boxes. And so the only thing that really needs to be simplified here, the only thing that was like terms, is my 3a squared and my 1a squared. And so 3 plus 1 gives me 4. So everything else just comes down and gets put in the boxes. So the -a comes down, and then the 3 plus 1 would give me 4a squared, and then I'm going to bring down my -2. And so that's going to be my final answer, -a plus 4a squared minus 2.